Ever wonder how those little hardware wallets we all talk about, actually keep your crypto safe? I mean, they're tiny.
Right. It's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it.
Like all that security and something you can fit in your pocket. Well, today we're going deep on hardware wallet security.
Buckle up.
We've got some excerpts here that, they really make you think twice about those popular wallets like Trezor and Ledger.
Yeah, the big names.
Exactly. Turns out they might not be as foolproof as we'd like to believe.
This deep dive is all about getting into the nitty-gritty of those potential vulnerabilities. And there's a new player on the scene, too. They're claiming to have solved the whole security puzzle.
The plot thickens. So to kick things off, what's the biggest issue with these hardware wallets? What's the Achilles heel?
It's funny because all of our sources kind of point to the same fundamental problem.
Okay, lay it on me.
It's the whole idea of storing those private keys. It's like to access your crypto, that key has to be somewhere, right? But as soon as you store it, even when it's all encrypted and tucked away, you've basically created a target of vulnerability.
So it's like the key to the castle is also the weakest point in the wall.
Exactly. It's a bit of a paradox. And our sources are really specific about this. One excerpt even mentions this case where I think it was a group of security researchers managed to pull private keys right off a Trezor one.
Wow. How did they even do that?
Something called a voltage glitching attack. Pretty complex stuff. But basically, they tricked the device into, spilling its secrets.
That's a bit unsettling, to say the least.
Oh, and don't forget that pasted text excerpt. It says straight up, both Trezor and Ledger store private keys permanently.
So even with all the encryption and fancy security measures, those keys are still sitting there, just waiting for someone clever enough to snag them.
That's the worry, right?
Big time. So is there even a way around this? Is there any way to secure your crypto without, creating this kind of vulnerability?
Well, that's where this new solution comes in, the one we mentioned earlier, the DigitalBank Crypto Vault.
DigitalBank Crypto Vault.
That's a mouthful.
Okay, so what makes them so special? What are they doing differently?
They claim to have cracked the code, so to speak. They say they've found a way to completely avoid storing private keys on the device permanently.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Color me skeptical, but go on.
Yeah.
How do they pull that off?
It's all about encryption algorithms, but with a twist. Instead of keeping your entire key in one place, they use something called threshold cryptography.
Threshold cryptography. Sounds intense. Break that down for me.
Sure. Imagine your private key gets, split up into pieces.
Fragments.
That's right.
Okay, I'm following.
And you need a certain number of those fragments to authorize a transaction.
So even if someone gets their hands on one piece, they can't do anything with it.
Exactly. Each fragment is useless on its own. To get the whole key, to reconstruct it, you need a specific number of those fragments. And get this, they're only generated when you need them, like right when you're making a transaction.
So they're not just sitting there on the device all the time.
Nope. They appear when you need them and then poof, they disappear.
Okay, that's pretty clever.
Oh, and one of the excerpts even mentions Shamir's secret sharing scheme. Apparently that's one of the methods they use.
I'll have to look that up.
But the main point is, even if some super hacker managed to get into the vault, they wouldn't find a nice, neatly packaged private key just waiting for them.
It'd be like a puzzle with missing pieces.
More like trying to assemble a puzzle with only a few pieces from the middle. You can't see the full picture, just fragments of data. Totally unusable.
Okay, so they've addressed that whole vulnerability of storing the private key. But what about backups? I mean, every crypto newbie gets drilled on the importance of that 24-word recovery phrase.
Right, guard those 24 words with your life.
Exactly. But all of our sources point out the obvious flaw with that system.
Yeah, it's basically a giant neon sign pointing to your crypto. Hey, look, a crypto wallet over here.
Anyone who finds that list knows exactly what it is. And, that pasted text excerpt we keep coming back to.
I was just thinking about that.
It makes that point loud and clear.
If you stumble across a list of 24 words, well, you can bet it's connected to a crypto wallet.
Makes you an easy target for theft or, some social engineering scheme.
Exactly.
So how does the DigitalBank Crypto Vault handle backups then? If they're not using that 24-word phrase, what do they do?
That's where things get a little murky. The source mentions they have a different method, one that doesn't rely on anything easily recognizable or, exploitable.
Right.
But they don't really go into details.
So a little bit of mystery there.
Yeah, definitely something to dig into further, I think.
Okay, so they've seemingly tackled some major security hurdles,
Yeah.
but there's still some question marks.
Yeah.
But overall, even with those unknowns, it sounds like this digital bank crypto vault is like really pushing the boundaries of how we think about crypto security.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just the fact that they're addressing these vulnerabilities head on is huge. It's like they're forcing everyone to rethink the whole system.
Right. And for anyone listening, this is a big takeaway, I think. Technology, especially in the crypto world, is always changing, always evolving.
Always.
And if we want to keep our assets safe, we have to stay ahead of the curve. We have to keep learning and adapting and exploring new solutions. This deep dive, it's really just a starting point.
Exactly. A springboard almost.
There's so much more to uncover, so many new innovations out there. Who knows what the future holds? But one thing's for sure, the quest for ultimate crypto security, it's far from over.
It's just getting started.
That's right. So keep those brains buzzing, keep researching, keep asking questions, and